Yo, what's up? Welcome, single person. It's fine. I'm gonna record this anyway, so and put it on the YouTube. So I want to talk about shaders, right? How to make them. So with HDRP especially, if you want to have something custom, like for example water, you need to make it yourself. There's no like preset for this. So for the old standard pipeline, we had a water preset, but not anymore. So we have to make it ourselves. But it's actually really good practice because it's very interesting what you can do with shaders alone. You can actually make anything you want. You can make like a force field shader. You can make water. You can make a grass wave in the wind. You can make outlines for the character, for example, or do something else. You can actually make a lot of fun stuff with this. So that's what I'm going to do as well. So what we need for this is called shader graph. You can find it in package manager over here, and then you can go to packages, and then you can find, it's going to load, give it a second, shader graph, this one over here, which is just a tool to create shaders. That's why it's called shader graph. And it's a node-based system to make shaders with. So it's a little bit easier than actually making it through code, because code can be really complicated. Because it's done in CGSL or HLSL, which is really complicated, so we're not going to do that, and it requires extra steps to actually make a shader work. So I'm just going to use shader graph for this, and then we're going to make we're going to make a water shader, because that's the most complicated one. And if we have time left, we're going to move on to the actual water, like a grass shader, for example. I will share this as well, so if you get lost, I will share this, you can actually look at it. So I made a folder called shaders over here, and then I'm going to make a new shader, and I'm going to go create shader, and then we're going to go to HDRP. I'm going to create a lit graph shader, which is just a graph. So I'm going to call this like water HDRP, for example. Now I can open this by double clicking it, and then you get this, right? This is the basic setup for a shader. So this is the output, this is what you're going to see, or this is what you can use as inputs. For example, you have the color over here, you have normal map, code mask, metallics, movements, and occlusion. The basic stuff that you're all familiar with. And to the left here, that's your blackboard, in which you can put like things that are visible in the inspector. So for example, you can add here like a vector 1, which is just a value, right, with a comma. It can use for like controlling how fast the water behaves, or how fast or how strong the wind is, for example. So I'm just gonna get like started with this. So it's not that complicated at first, and then it's gonna get more and more complicated as we go along, but you'll see. So the first thing I kind of want to play with here is my color. So what you can do, right, you can just hit space, and then you can create a node. In this case, what I want to do, I want to create just a color. So by just type your color, you can click on it, and it adds a color node, right? So this is a node. So if I now put this in my base color over here, and I hit save asset, then if I go now again to my material over here, I'm going to make a new material real fast. That's called water material. And I can find it here if I go again to my shader graphs over here, and then I'm going to go for water HDRP. Oh, I've got two of them. That's really annoying. I'm going to rename this one real second. HD. It's a little bit easier. There we go. Shader graph, water HD. This one. So nothing shows, but we see we have a black ball here. That's it. So if I now change my color over here, hola. If I change my color over here, for example, to something like red, I can hit save again, and then actually it turns into red. If you give it a second, there you go, it's red, right? This is really complicated, right? So every time you want to change the color, you have to go into shader graph, so it's not ideal. So what I want to do here is I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to hit convert to property. It will show up here in your blackboard. So I'm going to call this water A, for example. And this is my default color now. So if I now hit save asset, if I go back to my material, we can now change it here. So by converting it into a property, you actually expose this to the actual inspector over here. Then you can change stuff with this. So I'm going to make a quick plane here. That's going to be my water plane. I'm going to go here for the object plane. I'm going to delete this for a second. Okay, what I don't want to do, right? I don't want to scale this too far, because what we're going to do is we're going to actually change our vertices over here. So if I go now wireframe mode, I actually want to make these go up and down, right? So if I make them really big, we lose the detail in our water. So I kind of want to keep it like this. So what for now is 1, 1, and that's it. I'm not going to change anything else. That's it. Gonna maybe a little bit down so it's actually in the water here, for example, like this. That's it. So this is gonna be our water. I'm gonna assign this to it. There we go. It's now red. It's beautiful. So this is our water shader. So the thing is with like water, right? You have this effect where the color changes based on the angle in which you look at it. That's called a Phenom Effect. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna delete this one over here real fast. There you go. And I'm gonna add a new color again. So again, hit space. I'm gonna type color. I'm gonna also convert this into a property. I'm gonna call this one double click water B. So these are our waters. That's it, right? So you have two waters, water A, water B. Right now, though, they are not connected to anything, so they will not actually work, right? So if you want them to work, you need to connect them to something in here, otherwise it's not going to work. So what I kind of want to do, right, is I want to blend them based on a certain attribute. So what we can do is call a thing called lerp. So lerp, which stands for linear interpolation. I don't know why they call it like lerp, because that would actually make more sense, but this is called lerp. So this is just like blending between two attributes. That can be anything you want, but in this case it just creates like this gradient between those two, and that's it. So I want to plug in my water A and A, I want to plug in my water B and B, and T stands for okay, on what do you want actually alert this on. I'm gonna add what we call a Phenom effect here, and you can see it, right? So you can see based on the angle, like the viewing angle, the color changes. So if you change like the X over here, the power, you can see that it actually becomes a little bit more. And now this is actually used for like force field or a holographic effect, that sort of stuff. So I'm gonna keep it to 1 for a second for now, and I'm gonna plug this into my T. So this is gonna be my actual like blending thingy that's gonna blend this. Then I'm gonna put it back into my color over here, and that's it. I'm gonna hit save. There we go. So I can see, right, it actually, you can see if you look really close, this is not purely red. If I now change my angle here, you can see that it actually turns into black. And over here it's black. So it's a really cool effect, so you can actually change this. Now maybe you want to play with the power here, for example. So what you can also add a factor 1, which is just a value, which you can also then plug into your power. Now it's 0 because my X is 0, so I'm gonna also expose this, like convert the property again. I'm gonna call this Phenom power. A default value of 1. That's it. The cool thing here as well, you can change some stuff here. So if you want to, you can also say, okay, I want to have like a slider here, for example, between 0. I'm gonna do like a 0.5 and 2, for example. So you can change the type on which it actually displays. Click on these. I'm gonna hit save again, and you'll now see. Open this again. You see now we got this power over here that you can actually change. But I'm gonna leave it to 1. But this is really fun, right? So you can actually use anything that you want to change. You can just convert it into a property. That means you can actually use this for whatever you want to do, right? Cool. So this is what we have right now, right? So we have two colors over here, water A, water B, that we're gonna blend between using a Phenom effect that we're actually gonna use. And that's it. So far. So I'm gonna drag this one a little bit to the side over here. I'm just gonna grab these all, so move them. The next step is the more fun part, right? We want to actually create like those wave effects. And the way we're going to do that is just using a texture as a normal map. So the first thing I need then is a texture, right? So I'm going to hit space again. I'm going to type in texture to the asset over here, which we can then drag in a texture, right? So the first thing I want to do is convert it into a property. So convert to property. I'm going to call this my normal texture. So the thing is though, we can't use it right now. We can't just drag it in here. Doesn't work. See, it will ask for something. Because the thing is, right, with a texture, you first want to like read it or sample it. So okay, what is it what kind of texture is it? So what we need to do here is a sample texture 2D. So we need to actually like first read it, because this is only a slot, right? So this is a slot in which you can drag your textures in, and then we need to have something that you can actually read it with. So that's called a sample texture 2D. I'm gonna put in my texture over here. There we go. And now I can say, okay, my type here is a normal map. Then I can drag this into my normal over here. See? Now it actually takes it. Okay, save again. Now go back to my water again. Looks really bad because there is no normal texture over here. I'll click it. I already have one, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to type water texture. Right. So beautiful, right? This is right now our water. It's black. and red, and it looks hideous. That's okay, that's okay. And that's the first step. Can we also change get the power here, so make it a little bit more black, whatever. So I'm going to just turn this into bluish, like a bluish color over here, maybe one little bit like darker bluish, whatever. Whatever makes you happy, you know. Maybe something like this. Beautiful. This is going to be our water. So I'm going to keep going to 1. So right now it looks really weird, right? Because that's just because of the sky box that we have as a reflection. But here over here you can see the actual color. And it's not that bad. So if I look here, right, so you can actually see the highlights. You know, it's shiny, but yeah. So we now have a normal map that we can plug in. But I want to do for more of this. I want to make it like, for example, move. So what we can do here is like these ones are the UVs again, which we can use to actually offset it. So we can actually use this to actually move it through time. So there's a thing called tiling and offset node, which is an out of 2, right? So XY. The UV here also takes 2 XY as well. So I can put this in over here. Then we can use this. So you have a UV here, you also have a tiling here, and you also have an offset here. So what I want to use here right now is my offset. So I'm just going to add a quick time node over here. I'm just going to put it in here and you'll see what happens. I'm going to put it in there and that's it. So right now you can see, right, it's moving really fast, but now it's just based on time, it's just sliding, and the only thing we're doing, which is offsetting the actual UVs, that's it. That's the only thing that we're doing, which is offsetting the UVs with a certain speed. This is of course way too fast. So we actually want to change some stuff over here, so I'm gonna delete this one for a second. So I want to do a couple of things here. So I want this to be based on a world position and not on the actual UVs of our mesh, because if we make it bigger, right, the UVs will also scale with it. So that's not what I want to do. And I also want to be able to change the tiling of our texture, and also want to control how fast it's actually moving. So we need to do a couple of things here first. So first, what I kind of want to do here is actually get the position of the object in world space. What we can do is a position node. So then it's regardless of where it actually is in the world or the angle of that object, we just want to have like the Y is always up, and that's it. So the angle doesn't change how the texture will behave, how the shader will behave. So I'm going to grab here a position object. I'm going to set to absolute world. This is a new thing introduced and like lately. It's very recent, but this one means that it will absolutely only do world. So X is X, Y is Y, and Z is Z. No, nothing else. So we have like an output here that's X, Y, Z. Now I don't care about the Y angle at all, right? Because I don't want to do anything with it. I just want to have it like X on Z and be able to move those. So I kind of want to ignore the Y position. So what we can do, if you can say, okay, I want to create a split over here. And we can output this into here, and then we have RGB, right? But RGB that can be anything you want. That can be XYZ as well. So XYZW, for example. So what I can do is I can only take the X, for example, and the Z values. So the R is X and the B is our Z value. Again, X, Y, and Z. So we can actually use these and just like ditch the Y altogether. So they're now separate objects, right? So then I kind of need to like combine them again. So I'm going to hit combine. So literally it's called combine. And now we have three outputs over here. So you have the RGB alpha with 4 values. You have the RGB, well, that has 3 values, right? And you have the RG, which has 2 values, right? And that's what I want to use. Well, I only want to use 2 values, again, the X and the ZX. So we just said, right, that the R and B are the XZ channels. So what we kind of want to do here is we're going to put in our X channel in our red channel, so X again. But then I kind of want to put my blue channel in my green channel. It doesn't make any sense, right? But these are just slots for values. Again, the RGB are just like indicators of something, right? So it's easy to read, but it can be anything you want. So you can actually just put everything in here. You can also put like time in here if you want to, or a certain factor 1 that you want to add yourself. So I'm just saying right now that the X and Z channels are now combined into the R and G. So we just like flattened it and we just ditched the Y completely. Like fuck it, we don't need it anymore. So gone. So now I can actually use this again. So this is the absolute world space. So I can use this now as my UV again. So this has 2 outputs, right? So X and Y. I can put this now into my UV. So now the texture will be of absolute world space. So again, it doesn't matter which angle it actually has, it will always be like pointing up or pointing to the right or pointing to the left. So this is kind of helpful for doing that. And these two, right, we just kind of just ignore them completely, we actually don't need them. I'm gonna save it real fast. So nothing's gonna change, right? Except for this, it's now a little bit smaller. But I can now rotate it around and see, you can actually see how it moves. Right, so the texture will always try to point up, regardless of where it actually is. And that's why we actually use that node here, the position, and then we just split it so we can ditch the Y, and then we can combine the X and Z into an output that we can use as our thingy over here. So there you have a time, right, which I want to be able to control. So the first thing I want to do here is I want to create something that I can multiply this with. So I'm going to create a multiply node, literally. So for example, right now our time is, let's say 2, and I want it to be slower, so I can multiply this with like 0.2, 0.3. I can drag in my time over here. There we go. And I kind of want to create like a vector 2 over here, so we can control the directions going again. So X and Y, or XZ. These two will be my actual directions. So do I want it to be like only to the left, only forward, or do I want to be able to create like this nice diagonal line over here? I can put this one over here as well. There you go. I'm going to use the default value here of say -1 or 1, it's up to you. And I'm going to leave one dy to 0. So it's just going into one direction, and that's it. Okay, so let's plug this in over here into our offset, see what happens. I'm going to hit save. It's just nice going slowly. It's not kind of nice. Nice pace. So I kind of want to expose these two again, so I'm going to hit here on control and convert to property. For now, I'm going to leave it like name this right now, so I'm going to hit save. There we go. So now I can change this one over here. See, and then it just changes the way it's actually going, right? That's the fun part. I can also say, yeah, I kind of want to have this one going like this direction over here, like the Y. So you have to keep in mind though that right now my X is over here, my Z is over here, my X is over here, because my plane is like a little bit rotated, so a little bit weird. I'm just going to set it like this for a second, so a little bit easy, right? So Y1 means it's going forward. If I set this to -1, it's going in this direction. If I set this one back to 0 again, 0, I'm going to set this one to 1. It's going to go left, or to right, sorry, and -1. So this is just my direction of which the plane or which the water is actually flowing to. That's it. So it's only a certain direction that we can use to control, okay, where are you going to? In this case, I want to go to the left. That's it. That's what I'm doing. So this vector 2 over here, I'm actually doing that. I can say, okay, I'm going to rename this. I'm going to call this direction. So now we have a direction here over here as well, so we can control in which direction the water is actually moving. Nice, right? So I also want to be able to control again the speed on which it's going. So this is the direction. So what I can also do here is, again, I'm going to add a multiply node in between here. I'm going to type multiply. In this case, I want to create a vector 1. This is the actual speed of which our water is flowing. So again, multiply this. So the output of this one can be multiplied with this one. And I'm going to say, let's 1 for example. I'm going to put it into property. I'm going to call this speed. I don't know, speed. Right? Just going to speed. Again, the output goes into the offset over here. There you go. So now I should be able to control how fast it's actually moving. So if I up this real fast, you see how fast it's going, right? If I go like super slow, like 0.1, it's nice and slow, you know, it's chill, nothing spectacular. Awesome, right? So we have a direction over here, so we control, okay, where is it actually going to? Then we also have a speed one over here, so how fast is it going? So it's a direction and speed. So far, pretty understandable, right? There's nothing really complicated. It's just getting to the mindset of how it actually works. So we have the position in the world again, right? So it doesn't matter on which angle the object is actually behaving. It will always look up or always look to the left or right, whatever. Since position is XYZ, and I don't care about the Y angle again, because it's a 2D texture, right? I only want to use X and Z. So I split this. The R is X, green is Y, and the blue is Z. Then I combine those two into an output that can be used again for the UV, because the UV only takes 2 values. In this case, X and Z, so I output this into our UV over here. So then we'll have a tiling over here, so at X, Y. So I can do here as well. Again, I'm going to create a vector 1 here. And I can put in here, for example. So this is just one value that we're going to use for tiling. So let's say I'm going to say, let's call this property again. I'm going to call this normal scaling, normal tiling. Default value is 1, right? That's it. So now I should also be able to control the tiling, and I can. So this is kind of weird, right, to use this value. So what you can also use is just, again, a multiplier or a divide node to make this a little bit more readable. Because like a tiling of 0.3 kind of doesn't make any much sense, but yeah, it is the way it is. We have water that's now slowly flowing into something, and that's it. Still doesn't look like water at all, so what I can change right now as well is set it to transparency, not transparent. It's not going to change anything, right, because right now our alpha value is still 1, so it's just going to be opaque. What we can do, right, is just make a little bit more changes over here. So I can say here, for example, in my alpha, I can add like a value over here again, let's say vector 1, so just a value. That's going to be my transparency value here over here. We're going to use something else for that in the future, but for now I'm just going to add it over here so you can see what happens. So transparency, that we can change. Then we have to plug in the alpha. Stop compiling it, there we go. I can change how much I actually want to be transparent. Right? This doesn't look like water at all, but you get the idea. And we can also add something here as well for my smoothness here. So I'm going to add again vector 1. So that's just one value that we can use. I'm going to put it into smoothness. I'm going to add, again, convert this to a property. I'm going to call this smoothness with a default value of, let's do 0.5. And let's create that's kind of cool, a slider here again between 0 and 1. Because we can't go higher than 1, we don't want that, so let's do it like this. So now we can control how reflective our water should be. Now it's all the way up. It's super shiny, not shiny, super shiny, etc. Okay. Still looks awful, but that's okay. That's okay. Patience, patience, patience. But we're getting there, right? So this is a good start for our water. So what I kind of want to do right now is I want to overlay like two waves, one little bit, one bigger and one smaller. So what we can do, right, is we can just like copy paste all of this. So the part of the time here, the actual offset here. So what I want to do again is I'm just going to duplicate my texture over here, sample texture. I'm going to input the same texture that we used before. And now I just want to use a different input for my UV. Actually, for my UV and for my sampler. Oh, sorry, for my UVs. So I want to use a different input for this. So what I kind of want to do here is I want to have the same texture but smaller, right? So I want to have it a little bit smaller. So I can actually use almost the same things over here except for my tiling over here, right? So I want to create a new tiling. I also want to change the direction here as well, so it's opposite direction. So what I can do here is I'm just like gonna copy paste all this, just Ctrl D it, put it over here. This one as well. This one as well. Set it one to 2 and 2. For now, I'm gonna put this into the offset. And I'm gonna put this again into my UV. There you go. And I want to change my direction here to something else. So I actually want to do here is vector 2 again. And I want to say like 1 and something like that. So I kind of want it to be the opposite direction, but we'll have to see. I'm gonna hit save real fast. Because this is not gonna do anything because there's no output over here. So we have to do first is like blend them together. So we actually have to blend our normal maps together. That can be done with a normal blend. This one over here, which we then can use to actually blend in the normal. So I'm gonna let's open over here, put it in there. This one over here. I'm gonna put this one back into my normal over here. There we go. Let's see what it looks like. Probably hideous. That's okay. Okay, but you can see right there's now a different normal map overlaying over here. It's kind of nice. If I put this one actually also to 1, you see right, it's now you get a little bit more like interesting dynamic going on because there's a little bit more. If you now look here as well, you can see there's a second layer almost of waves over our current waters. This is a good start, right? This is a good start. So this is the waves part, right? This is the easy part. What we also could do, right, is to make it a little bit more automated. We can actually grab this direction here, for example, and then we can say like invert it, for example. You can do that as well. You can just, I think there's an actual invert lerp, but yeah, we're not gonna do that. So I'm gonna keep it the way it is for now, like this. Okay, that's the easy part. So what I kind of now want to do is actually have the offset, the actual offset, so that we can actually make the waves actually move. And we can do it by actually changing the actual vertices, completely all the vertices together. I kind of want to create a little bit more space here, so I'm going to grab all of these. Actually, I kind of want to create like a group over here, so you can also create a group selection. This is my color, right? Color, that's it. Then, nope. These are going to be my actual normal waves. I'm going to call them, group selection, normal waves, like this. There you go. I can just move them all together a little bit easier like this. And it's just nice to be organized, right? In my opinion, at least. There you go. Much better. The next step would be to create the actual movement again of the actual waves, which is a little bit more complicated, but it is kind of fun in my opinion. So what we're going to do for that is we're going to use noise, right? That's going to be our main thing. Yes, it is, yes. So right now we're up to this. it's a start, right? It's a good start. Okay, so the way is going to be moving on actual noise. I'm going to move this one all the way down. Come on, down and down and down. So we can use like, if you type in noise, you can use a gradient noise or a simple noise. It doesn't really matter which one you use, to be honest. Go for simple noise, you know, it doesn't really matter, right? You see they're both the same. I think they're actually almost identical. This one just has a little bit more detail in it, so yeah, it is, yeah. Oh, this will be put on YouTube afterwards. It will be put on YouTube. So I'm going to use the actual scale here for my actual simple noise here, so I want to be able to control my noise, my frequency of the noise. So I kind of want to create, like, again, a factor 1 here, so a simple number, which I can be used as my scale here. I'm going to input this again as a property. This is going to be my wave scale. And default is going to be like 50. I don't know, right? I don't know. Something that we have to figure out ourselves that we can actually use. Okay, that's number 1, right? Then we need to actually use this as a way of actually moving the object. So I'm going to show you real fast. So what we can do, right, again, we need to get a position of an object. In this case, though, we want to get a object position. So where is my object currently in space, right? For the actual vertices, so where are my vertices in space? So I can change that. There you go. Again, the only thing I kind of want to use here, actually the only thing I want to use in this case is the Y channel, but the output has to be XYZ, right? It has to be, that's the way it is. You can't do anything else. So what I can do here is, again, I can actually make a split. So for my position, I'm only going to use, again, the X and Z, and my noise is going to be my actual Y axis, right? That's going to be my Y axis. So the position object is going to be X and Z, and my noise is going to be my Y object. So then I'm going to create a factor 3. So this is going to be in my X, this is going to be in my Z, and this is going to be in my Y position. Then I can actually plug this in, if I'm not mistaken, into my oh god, vertex position. I can't see shit. 1 second. Closer. First position, this one. First position, right? I have no idea what's going to happen, so brace yourself. Probably going to be hideous. If it actually works, probably not. There it is, right? It's actually now deforming our object, and I can also change the scale here as well, so you can see its scale. Cool, but it's static. That's why it's completely static. It doesn't do anything, so it's not really that ideal. So we need to again create like this offset again using time to actually make our noise behave. So what we can do next, right, is we can just say a couple of things here. So again, we're going to use that time. So I'm going to put this all the way back here. So this is my noise. I'll move this one a little bit closer to my actual output. Oop. This one over here. There you go. Perfect. So again, I'm gonna make a time node. Time. There. So again, I also want to be able to control this as well. There's also the direction again. So again, we're gonna do the same thing as we did with the other one. So again, we're gonna multiply this. Gonna put my time into my A. I'm gonna again create a factor 2. This is gonna be my direction of my waves this time as well. So that's kind of cool as well. And then we're gonna create again, let's see, time offset node. Time and offset, this one again. I'm going to put this into our offset, this one. I kind of want to use my world space again, this one over here. I kind of want to reuse that as our UV, right? That's like we did over here as well. So again, I can just grab this one here again, decombine, just going to put it in my UV. There we go. Then I can put this in my UV of my noise over here. See? There we go. See what happens? I have no idea what's going to happen. Let's have a look. Not much. Is it moving at all? It's not moving at all. Okay. So it makes sense, right? Because we have set it here to 0. So I'm going to put it on to 1. See what happens. We multiply with 0 is 0, as you guys know probably. So I can see this, the shadow here already moving. So yeah. Okay. No, right? No, this is not what we actually need. So we need to have something here, and here we can multiply with, so we can actually control how strong the actual is. So I'm gonna again, I can do it here as well. I can actually use this direction here again. So I'm gonna use this direction here. So it's always flowing in the same direction as my normals. I'm gonna put this one over here. There we go. Can I go on? Go on. There we go. No shit. I'm gonna drag off for a second here so I can actually put this in a little bit easier. Thank you. There we go. God, oh Jesus Christ, that's so annoying. Why ask us in a different group? Oh, that's so annoying. Okay, so I can just want this direction. Just drag it in here. Fuck it. There we go. Works as well, right? The same thing. There you go. Because it's in a group, right? It doesn't want to actually do this. So we're using the same direction as our normals. You can still see it's going in that direction, but let's see if it actually changes how it actually behaves. So right now it's going this direction. So if I now change my normal, see the actual the way it moves, it actually changes as well based on our direction of which our normals are flowing. So that's kind of nice, right? That's kind of nice. Okay, so what we want to do here is we want to create like again a way to actually offset this. So I want to create like this wave speed thingy. Oh, I need to create a factor 1. I'm sorry. So I want to create a wave speed. This is going to be again a property all the way down. This is going to be our wave speed. There we go. Again, we're going to multiply this value over here. So this one again with this one, and again we're going to output this into our offset. Right now it's still 0, so I'm going to put it back to 1. See, it's still moving. Maybe we use a little bit less though, but we'll have to see how it goes. Okay. Let's see what happens. Still, it's probably still the same, but if I now change the wave speed here, see? There we go. The thing is though, this number is not very exact, so it's kind of annoying. So what I'm going to do in between here is actually a divide node. So I can actually use this one over here. So I'm going to add a divide node. Divide. I'm going to put this one over here, for example. I'm going to divide by 20 or whatever. I'm going to put this back into here. So let's see if I do it by 100, for example. Then we need to use a big number to actually have the same effect here. It's a little bit easier, right, to actually read it. So right now it's super slow, of course. I have a number back to like 10. A little bit easier if I go 1 here, for example. It's very slow. To a little bit slower, but 100 is like same speed again. So a little bit easier to read those values. Otherwise, you have like 0.0084992. Just have a nice motion of our actual wave. So that's not what we want to have, though. So. Okay, but getting there, right? So now we also want to change our scale again. So this one over here. So what I kind of want to do. Sorry, over here. So the scale will have them already. So if I go back here, I'm already farther than I actually thought. So we go back to like 10. It's nice and slow, like this. pretty okay, pretty okay. So, what else can we do? Right, in time offset here, we actually have this value, the same value over here. But maybe though we can change this number over here again. So maybe we want to like a little, the wave should be not that high. So again, I'm gonna multiply over here, gonna grab my one we just had from here as well. Maybe this is gonna be like the wave strength or whatever, you know, just gonna be a little bit more organized here. A little difficult to read this. There we go. This my multiply again. It's gonna go back into my UV. There you go. So what if you add a multiplier here? Oh sorry, factor 1 here. Factor 1, I'll put it in there. So right now it should not do anything. In theory, you can see it here as well, right? The shadows here. This first one takes update, so right now it's kind of interesting. What if you like change this value like 0.1, for example? It's a little bit like a smidge. See? It's a little bit dull, but still it's very high, right? So we kind of want to have the values to be a little bit less. So what if we just like, okay, I'm gonna redo this again, so I'm gonna grab this one. I'm gonna put it back into my UV2. So we can just delete these two altogether completely. What we can also do is we could just like multiply our actual noise here as well, so make it a little bit darker. So we can have here like a in between. So between multiply here, I'm gonna actually multiply this again. My output here. So I want to make it a little bit less like dark or less bright. So how bright this will be, how high will the output will be. Now put this in here. In here it's gonna be black again. I'm gonna put this one back into my Y. So again, a color is just the value right between 0 and 1. And if it's black, it's just on the same position, and if it's white, it's gonna go all the way up. Right now, it just should not do anything. It doesn't. Like the shadows. Right, static again. But now, if I expose this one, so sorry, convert to property. So it's gonna be our wave strength. Default like I don't know, like 2.2 for example. We should have a little bit of a wobble in here. You can see it, right? A little bit of a wobble happening. See, this is nice, right? This is nice. This is a little more like an actual river. Now I can like up this to something ridiculous, or like super tiny, like this, right? This is a start, right? This is a start. I'm gonna put this back here. Actually, I'm gonna have this one -1. Okay. A little bit more speed so we can see how the actual waves. -1 river. There you go. 0.3. Awesome. Okay. So I'm not really a big fan of these second waves, right? The direction, because I can't control it yet. It's kind of annoying me, so I'm gonna actually convert this into property. And I can actually move this up as well by just dragging it. So I'm gonna up it. Factor 2 should be higher than my come on. Speed, direction, there we go. Direction 2. Right, maybe let's call this direction small waves. A little bit easier, right? Maybe this should be like direction big waves. To make a little bit more sense how I actually should do this. Hit save. I'm gonna go back to my scene here. So maybe I'll also make it like 1 for example. Let's go 0, 1. Maybe let's go -1 here, opposite direction. That's kind of weird though, so let's just keep it at 1. Right? But you see, right, it actually starts to flow a little bit. It's now making a little bit of a flow going on, which is kind of nice. So this is actually going in the right direction. It still looks hideous though, but that's something we'll address later on. But for now, you know, it's actually flowing. We have the wave strength happening here as well, so you get a nice wave here. Got a nice waveform here. There you go. And the cool thing, right? The cool thing is, well, since we use the absolute world space, the thing is that we can actually do right now, we can just like copy paste this one, attach it to it, a little bit overlap, see, and now it's seamless, right? That's the cool thing about using the absolute world position. We just have like a seamless transition between the planes. It's very nice. See, it looks perfect. Okay, so getting somewhere. Now the thing is though, by using the absolute wheel space, I can just like rotate this. It will still go in the same direction because of wheel space. So if you want to change the direction a little bit, so it actually go in like this direction, then we need to change something here, the actual value. Probably need to add a little bit of like an X here. I don't know, a little bit, -1 probably. There we go. Same here. So it actually flows, in a direction. Still wrong though, but yeah, get the idea. Maybe this one should be like, whoop. There we go. So now it's flowing in right in the actual direction. I'm gonna copy paste this one. Well, maybe I'll just rotate this. There we go. And again, the reason why I didn't scale it right, so if I want to make this a lot bigger, I'm just gonna make one a lot bigger. You see, right? We actually lose a lot of detail. So the bigger it is, right? Since we're actually moving the vertices, so the less vertices there are, the less detail you'll have in the actual displacement of our objects. Nice. Good stuff. So let's make it a little bit less hideous. So we actually need to change some stuff here. So we actually want to have like transparency in here. So I already have one over here, but I can do anything I want with that, but it's still gonna look hideous. But you have to keep in mind though, when you're working on this, is that by default it will only reflect the sky, right? So what I can do right now for test here, I'm gonna add a Flexure Probe. I'm gonna make it nice and big here. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger actually, not 15, 15, 15. I'm gonna hit bake. There we go. Just for now at least, because we're gonna do something else with this, but when I look over here, right, it's actually not that bad. See? From this angle, it's not that bad. It's not pretty yet, but it kind of has this like this wavy water feeling to it. But the thing is though, your texture has to be really good, because right now I just googled an image of waves on, and then I just converted it into a normal map, which is not ideal. So you want to be careful that you don't want to do this. But I mean, making your own normal map would be perfect. But yeah. Anyway, I mean, this doesn't look that bad, right? This looks pretty okay actually. And from over here, it's hideous. So how do we get reflection in here? First, I'm gonna group this for a second. I'm gonna create this a little bit more like an actual group. There we go. Yeah. Okay. What I kind of want to do is I want to change this vector, the scale. Right now it's a vector 1. I can't change it though anymore. I think, can I change the value? No. I kind of want to turn it into a vector 2 here for a second. Vector 2. Because the thing is, because then you can create like interesting stuff with this. So I can property, complete my wave scale. So I can have like these waves, or like these, then they're actually like stretched out a little bit. So it's kind of cool. So by just creating like a really big scale on Y, for example, you get really big waves, for example, something like that. So that's what I want to have here. I'm gonna go back here. Let's have a load. Gonna make it a little bit stronger here so we can see what happens. Okay, so let's do like 50 here. See, it's now a little bit more rough as well. I get the idea it's a little bit more rough. Let's do 10 maybe. 100. Actually not doing anything for some reason. I have, of course it's scale, sorry. I'm being an idiot, sorry, this could be just a send. Never mind that, sorry, I'm being an idiot, that has to be a vector 1. I knew that, of course, that was a test to see if you were paying attention, obviously. Wave scale. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so you kind of want to change the UVs here. This one over here. In this case, you want to be able to multiply this, but I'll just do it later on. First let's make it look pretty. That's what I'm going to do first here. I want to make it look pretty. So wave scale, Bob. There we go. Let's do 10. And 0.24. There we go. Okay. We're back in business. Okay, let's make it pretty, right? So let's group this. I'm gonna grab them all. Group selection. This is my wave deformation. So there you go. Again, let's be organized. I'm gonna just drag these ones around. So the next step would be to create the like actual effect of water and fog that we have in our water usually. So what I want to do here is it's just gonna get a little bit more complicated though, but just bear with me, okay? So the first thing I want to get is our scene depth, right? So we can actually see how far we're looking into the scene. So scene depth, that's number one. This one over here. This is just based on our set buffer, so how far we can look into the actual screen, right? But I want to use my camera for this. So I'm also going to add my camera for this. It's also camera, this one. And I want to use my far plane. So this is how far the camera can actually look, right? So that's the edge of our camera, and everything after that just gets disregarded, and everything before that will actually get rendered. So I kind of want to use that one over here. So I'm going to hit multiply again. I'm going to get my out. I also want to grab my far plane. These two. So again, the scene depth is like looking into a scene. So how far can we look into a scene based on a set buffer, and our far plane is like, yeah, after that just cut it off, right? After this I just want to cancel this, just be a little bit more efficient. Okay, we also need our screen position. So where are we right now in our screen? Again, this is a 4xyzw even, so that's even more complicated. I want to use the raw here as well. So this is a raw value. I don't want to have anything clipped in there, just raw. I'm going to split. Again, I just want to cut it off a little bit. There we go. There we go. I only want to use alpha for this, right? I don't care about the RGB in this case. I care about the depth. So I want to use the alpha in this case. So what I want to do here is I want to create a subtract. So I'm going to subtract some stuff here. Again, I'm going to do alpha value over here. Put that in here. There you go. And what do I want to subtract it with? Jesus Christ, is how much fog do I want to have, right? So I'm going to create a factor 1 again. I'm going to call this, put this in over here. I'm going to call this foggy look fog, right? Foggy look fog. Default value 1. There you go. Or -1 whatever you want to use, right? For now, just leave that. So we have these ones over here. There's a multiply here, and then we have subtract over here. Again, I want to subtract. I want to grab this value over here, and I want to subtract it with this one. Now, there's a reason we're doing this. It's really complicated, so don't. I'm gonna 1 minus this, so invert it. There you go. So now from white becomes black, black becomes white. 1 minus, just flip it. And then I want to create like a certain how strong do I want my fog to be. So again, I'm going to create a factor 1 over here. I'm going to also hit multiply over here. There we go. There we go. I'm going to call this fog strength. There we go. Now I don't want to have these values go overboard, like that they go too far. So what I kind of want to do here is I want to make sure that they are sealed to 1, so they can't go here anything lower than that. So I'm going to introduce a clamp, which means that they can't go higher or lower than my values that I've given. In this case, right, I'm going to put it over here. Minimum value 0, maximum value 1, so it just gets clamped, right? Okay. So I also want to be able to have a color over here, right? It's kind of cool. So I'm going to have a color again, so like fog color. This is going to be my fog color. Fog color. Does it actually work? It does work. I'm going to multiply this again with this value over here. So, over here. There you go. Oh. Wrong one. There you go. Then I can put this one into my emission. I'm going to find my actual thing over here. I'm going to just drag it down so I can put this in. Emission. There we go. I'm just going to save for now. Save. See what it actually does. Hopefully that does something at least, right? Also, I'm going to look like an idiot. Make it a little bit more transparent maybe. Right now it's not doing, I should probably turn on emission here as well. Okay. Yeah, transparency. There we go. Awesome, it's not doing anything. Oh, there we go. It's kind of weird because I did expect that to happen. Spread. Okay, let's have a quick look over here. What did we do wrong? So we have a scene depth, we have our camera. This is kind of annoying always that you have to figure out, okay, what the fuck went wrong over here. Camera, screen position. Volume by fog, because it's to 1 actually. Or did I actually have it set to 1? Did I? Yeah. I'm gonna unminus this a little bit. Strange. I think I forgot one thingy in between. Let's see if it's this one. I'm gonna add. Sorry about this. If it's this one, not sure though, but probably is. The world famous demo effects. You know when you have to do something, it doesn't work. It's always the case. Oh, okay, now something's actually happening. There we go. So it's not really strong though, but it's getting there. Okay. See, it's now, okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay. So the fog strength in this case has to be minus, it's okay. Well, you can see, right? If you look here, there's this nice fog going on there. I kind of like it. This is how I can like increase the strength here, so maybe a little bit less here. Again, I can go to minus, that's okay. I don't really care. Also maybe a little bit more darker here. There you go. It's kind of weird though because my proof is not closed, so I'm gonna actually gonna duplicate these real fast. So a little bit of seam in between. Probably because my values are not correct. Yeah. That's okay. But you can see right that there's like this fog happening right now. It's kind of cool. I like it. We're going to turn on the transparency a little bit, and then we can make it even less or more. Now there's this fog happening, and that gets a little bit of illusion that there's actually something beneath it. It's just faking. It's not really real, of course. It's real time actually, but it does kind of have this nice cool effect. Still though, it looks hideous because it doesn't have anything in there that looks like reflection. So I kind of want to do that as well. But that would be that would be our next step. So we're gonna add reflection in here, which is also kind of really fun to do. Let me check if I didn't forget anything. I don't think so. Okay. So next step would be you can add that again by putting it into the emission. Funnily enough, I'm gonna drag this one all the way back here. So one thing I kind of want to add is here my reflection probe. So I can, oh, not that one. Sorry, wrong one. It's my reflection probe. Reflection. Oh, I did it again. Jesus Christ. So reflection probe. This one. There we go. So I kind of want to use that one as my way of getting like the skybox around me because I actually made one. So again, I'm gonna add a lerp here. Lerp effect. This one is gonna be over here. My output over here is gonna be in my B, and then again I'm gonna add Phenom Effect here for my blending between. I'm gonna put this one into emission. There we go. Gonna take a second to think about it. Still look hideous. Oh. Probably because my reflection probe broke for some reason. What the fuck happened to that one? Like reflection probe. Here we go. Let's try this again. Wow. Don't know what's happening to my probes here, but they are kind of fucking it up. Okay, that's weird. Usually you actually get something in there in between, but right now it doesn't. Okay, so let's actually some values over here, maybe a little bit more for now. It still doesn't look that pretty. For some reason, maybe I can change up the smoothness here to 1. There we go. Okay, so this is actually has a reflection probe. I'll make it a little bigger here. Let's go 20. See how it actually changes all of a sudden. So by default, right, it only reflects the skybox, and then it will never look good. Oh, it's because of the fog in this case. Kokordrim is fog. But my fog is really high, so I've got it set to I don't know, volumes, fog. Like height is 40. If I get back to like 10, it's not that strong. If I set to like 40, it gets really big ass glare, you know, that lights the entire world by default. So, and that's why I got a really high fog. Make sure that you have fog, otherwise it's not going to work either. So, okay, it's still not that pretty though, but it's a good start. I mean, this needs some tweaking, of course, but you get the overall idea. Also like the waves here. So I already made one, of course, before this. That I spent a little bit more time on than this one. I'll show you. It was water. Of course, it's gonna break because I don't have my texture over here. It's the same. It uses the same methods, right? So this also like. Wow. It's just the same way in this case. This just doesn't look that good either for some reason, but yeah. Oh, probably just change the values here. This is also the one that actually I'm gonna share as well with everybody, so everybody can have this one as well for their. This is the strength. Let's do a little bit less. This also have. Should have one. Ooh, that's so fucking shiny. See, this actually looks kind of like water. So this is the one that I'll be sharing with everybody. So this looks pretty good. And see. Nice foam. Because it's really strong, of course, but yeah, you get the idea. This is transparency, less maybe. That's the one. You kind of want to use have set like something bluish, right? That kind of makes sense. So you get this. This is a nice river. Happy. I will share with this one with everybody so that people can use this as well. I don't have that much time left, but only thing I want to show as well is how to do foliage, right? The actual, I automated that one as well, so I'll just show it a little bit faster. There we go. It's the same method, right, that we used before. So we get the world position of the object. In this case, so we want to make sure that we know where the object actually is in space. So then we have just the time over here, and then we actually have noise that we actually offset. So this noise that we're actually using. Then we subtract it with a certain value, like 0.5, and then we use that to actually create the actual offset. I'll share this as well. So actually, how to use this, I'll show you. This one is not saved. This one not done yet, but I'll show you how to actually use that real fast. Then we're actually gonna expand on it a little bit now, so people can see. My plane, beautiful plane. This is the plane. Gonna make actually this one over here. He's using that some density. It just wiggles, you know, it just wiggles. It's beautiful. Okay, so let's actually do it for the tree here. So I'm gonna show you how to actually add everything in between. So this right now has 0. So do you want to have to use the actual wind branches? This one probably. So I'm gonna go for my shader. I'm gonna go for foliage. Stunning, right? Absolutely stunning. So we need to expand this a little bit. As you can probably imagine. So right now this only has the actual position. So we need to also add here the actual colors as well. I'll show you. So we need to again add a texture 2. Then we need to sample it again. So we need to read the actual texture that we actually just added over here. Texture 2. I don't want to do anything with this at all. I want to plug it into my base color. Done. I'm going to put this in here into my property again. This is gonna be my base color. Beautiful. So when I go here, I can now actually assign it again. So if I now click here for a second, find my textures, still know which one it actually is. Tray, this one, probably not right. No, this is not my texture. That looks a little bit better, yeah. Oh fuck, I forgot this one. Yeah, okay. I also want to turn on alpha clipping here as well, so this is my tree here. Right now it doesn't have any alpha clipping at all, so we need to actually have it, so we can actually drag in our alpha into our alpha. Makes sense, right? So alpha should go into alpha. Give it a second. There we go. Need to make sure that it actually supports this. Oop, there we go. So alpha clipping, turn on. There we go. See, now it's already shaking really bad. Shaking really bad. Doesn't look that good, but you know we have start. So let's have a look at. Did I forget any textures over here? So I just have a look at this. It also has mass map, normal map, and a thickness map as well. So okay, let's do this. So we're going to add two more. We're going to add a mass map. So let's go back over here. So we need so this is going to be our base color. Then we're going to add a texture 2D again. Actually, no, not that one. We'll make a new texture. This is going to be our mask map. Drag it up. There we go. Again, we need to sample this bad boy. So sample texture 2D. Sample texture. Right, since we're using HRP, right, it's a little bit different. So what we actually need to do is we need to find out which one I actually use. So if I go real fast, mask map, mask and detail maps. So it just look for like Unity documentation. You can find right the metallic is red, occlusion is green, detail mask is blue, and smoothness is alpha. So that knowing that, right, we can actually just plug everything in here. So our red channel is our metallic. So metallic. There you go. Alpha of green is occlusion. A green. I'm gonna go into occlusion. Blue is detail. I don't have that, so then we're gonna alpha. That's gonna be smoothness. There you go. Let's see mass map. I'm guessing I have to use this one, so that's okay. Mass map. There we go. Mass map. So next one will be the normal map. Same thing, right? Again, we add texture 2D. I'll sample this again, this bad boy, texture 2D. Make sure that you set it to type to normal, otherwise it doesn't work really well. Again, create property. It's gonna be a normal map. Normal map. Good job. There we go. I'm gonna put this into our normal, funnily enough. Normal, there we go. Save this bad boy again. Throw it in there. Normal. There we go. Those are trees again, right? Exactly the same. Almost the same. And then we could actually play with the settings over here, so maybe we want to change it a little bit less fast. So this again, this is the direction, so I could turn on like 0, it's gone. And like 1, 2, a little bit, you know. Nice cool breeze, maybe a little bit less density as well. So a quick look how it looks when we hit play. Kind of curious. So we have a nice stream that just stops at some point. There's a little bit of motion in here, it's a little bit not enough though. I need to add a little bit more. Ooh, Jesus fucking Christ. What the fuck was that? Come on, there you go. Maybe a little more, you know, like maybe let's do 0.5 here. 0.4. 0.5. Just finding the values, right, that you actually need to use. Have a look again. No, that's not bad. it's moving, right? Which adds quite a lot to the actual scene. Just have something in there that actually moves makes a lot of difference. So this is okay. It's not perfect though, but you know, you get the gist. So what else can we do is here as well? So we can actually turn this into surface scattering. This one. This is the one that they actually used as well for the actual trees as well. Then we also have a thickness map over here, so I'm gonna hit save real fast. So when you look at the one over here, like the default ones that they actually added, you can see where they have a thickness map and a diffusion profile, so we're gonna add that as well. It's not difficult, so in this case, thickness remap, I'm gonna add a thickness map. One over here. It's just texture again, right? It's the same thing over and over and over again. Again, texture 2D. Sampled it. Don't have to do anything with this, but except for maybe let's add this in property, and it's going to be our thickness, right? The thickness of the actual mesh. So we can actually have like some sort of scattering in there, which is kind of nice. So like the leaves become translucent, which is kind of cool. Then we're going to find our thickness over there, and then we can also add like a diffusion profile. Diffusion profile. It's just a file. I hope to God it doesn't actually crash. No, it doesn't. Okay. You can see what they actually saw, and it looks pretty as well. Okay, let's add in the diffusion, the thickness map. There we go. But you can see right difference where the sun actually hits the leaves, you know, they become a little bit translucent. Okay, so pretty. Okay, can I just make this? Oh, here we go. Can I just? No, I want to be able to select this, but for some reason I cannot. I also cannot turn this into a. Well, that's helpful. Or not at all. Can I just add it here, maybe? It's okay. No, it just looks pretty so far. See it as well, right? It's a little more greenish. It's kind of cool. It looks pretty cool. Let's add other trees as well. So this one's also still not moving, so I'm gonna do it here as well. So I'll let 0, I'm gonna make sure we do the same thing over here. So again, shader graphs, foliage, hideous, branches, mask map, normal map, thickness. Again, that's like 0.4 I think I used, and 0.4 I think. Density of 2 maybe. That seems like the scale of the noise. So the higher is the more noise there's going to be in our branches. Let's do it like 0.5 maybe, like big noise. Same here as well, 0.5. Big noise, huh? Big noise. That's kind of cool. Let's have a look. Subtle, but it is moving a little bit, maybe a little bit too subtle though. It's a nice cold breeze, you know, but yeah, okay. So what I'm gonna do though for now is actually what you can see about it actually has a thing called a reference over here, which means that you can access that using C#. What I kind of want to do here is actually want to have these ones by default like exposed. I'm gonna call this one my wind _ wind. This is gonna be my density. By doing that, I can actually access these later on through C#, and then that means I can have like this weather system almost, right? Where you can actually have the wind increase because you enter a trigger or something like that. So by just setting these ones right now to this value over here, we get a little bit more control over this. So maybe I'm going to add a little bit more wind in there, so a little bit more obvious. There we go. Get an error here, but nah, don't care. Hey, it's moving, it's moving. They're all moving, this one is moving as well. I mean, it's still need to do these ones here, but you get the idea. So let's add a little bit more water in the scene. Then it's time for beer. There you go. Let's add some water. Okay, so I'm gonna mix it into a group for a second. That's called water group. We're gonna grab these. Oh, not that one, just these. Probably there, so I can just copy paste these ones a little bit easier. And there we go. Yeah, the overlap is okay, right? I don't really care about the overlap. Because again, we're using world space, so it doesn't really matter. See like how they blend in flawlessly? So good. So good. Unless I moved it too far. Fuck. Now of course when I said that it's not gonna do that at all. There we go. It's better. Oh. This one doesn't actually get there. This one. Okay. It's not perfect though, but you get the idea. Okay. Maybe a little bit lower here, so a little bit more interesting effect. A little bit, but now you can see as well, right, the actual difference between the probe over here and no probe right over here. This looks really bad. This looks really good, right? This one looks really bad. So you can actually see the angle here, like the harsh border of my actual probe compared to my nothingness. So that's why you should always just add them, right? It's just makes such a big difference. It's ridiculous. I'm gonna do that as well here. Make it a little bit bigger, even like 25. The height does not matter that much now, but a little bit of overlap here. Bake it. There we go. This one looks better as well. I'm just gonna play with the color a little bit, so maybe a little bit more like darker blue, maybe. Make it a little bit more, you know, scary. Maybe the fog as well, a little bit like darker. I don't know yet about color though, but have a look again. A little bit too much, right? You can see the wave's a little bit too strong, but I look over here, like the actual highlights, that looks pretty good now. So I'm also going to add like the voice shader to these ones as well over here. Same thing, right? Just add the shader and add the textures, and then it's going to move. But oh, this looks so bad. Look at this. The difference is so big, you know. Like, oh, actual probe and no probe without. Hideous. Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of tweak this a little bit. Once it's tweaked and a little bit optimized, then I'm gonna share it with everybody as well. So you can look at that as well. I'll share for the voice shaders as well. I'll come here with some small tweaks, and then it should be okay. So for now, I'd say have a nice weekend, everybody. Don't drink too much, and then next week we're going to do C# programming probably. So we're going to add interaction. In the meantime, I'm going to add more stuff to the scene. So more like the shaders, I'm going to make a small tweaks here and there. And have everything move. And then next week we're going to add interaction. So should be fun. So thanks for watching, and then we'll see each other again next week. Ciao.